outputs. We don't need to do anything in here. Now under the idle control, this is something we talked about and we set up real quickly in that last tutorial. We set up to ignition only. So we're going to be using ignition timing to control our idle speed. This is essentially making fine adjustments in our engine's torque output. We don't have an idle control motor hooked up. That's pretty standard for individual throttle bodies. So what we'll find is that we have a fixed amount of airflow coming from our throttle blade opening, and we're going to be manipulating the engine's desired idle RPM, or the engine speed to the desired idle RPM speed in our idle control via spark timing. So that's going to be either adding or subtracting torque, which is going to force us to that desired target speed. We'll get into that a little bit more heavily in the next tutorial, but ignition only is what we're going to set right here. And then we could go down here, we'll find we have a idle up table. We don't need to worry about any of that. Long-term trim should be off. Target RPM, we're going to tell this to idle at 1200 RPM. We're going to have to idle a little bit higher here. These are really big throttle bodies, so we'll have to see how that goes. Cold engine, I'll probably tell it to idle at something like 1600. It's not going to get up that high because we don't have an idle control motor, but I'll tell it to idle at 16. And then between these two, if we just do an H, that'll horizontally interpolate. As we go up in coolant temperature, we're going to have our target idle speed dropping. Start offset, this isn't going to matter because we have no way to increase our desired target RPM because we have no airflow influence from lack of idle control motor, so that's fine. An ignition correction here, this is going to be how much we correct based on how far we're off from our target desired idle speed. We'll get into this again as we fire up the engine to get that sorted out. All right, so let's go down here under our cam control. Now, cam control is going to be our variable cam or VTC cam control. This is going to be controlling that variable cam solenoid to be able to allow more or less oil flow to go through the cam to the gear and then rotate that cam and essentially give us more or less overlap out of the engine. If we take a look here at our intake target table, this is based on throttle position, which is actually good because we want to map this via throttle position base. But in this case, we want to go ahead and just zero this table out just so we have kind of a better starting point. And then if we go into the table here, into the wizard, we can start at 0, go to 100, and increment in 10. Just shrink this table down a little bit. That should be fine in terms of our resolution. We don't need to go out to 10,000, so we'll just chop off the last breakpoint here. And we do want to set this up on our cam control output state VTEC, either on or off, because that will have different variable cam mapping or targets, whether we're going to be low or high cam. So we're going to go ahead and set this up as such. So we'll say 0 and 1 here again. Click OK, and now both.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.